Greetings, dearest friends. It is Michael, or Archangel Michael, whichever you prefer. My message today is for those who are interested in hearing it. Therefore, if this message is for you, you will know because you will resonate with it. And if it is not for you, you will also know because you will most definitely be disinterested. So with that said, let us talk about your very finite planet, or let us put it this way, the condition of your very finite planet, that which is planetary Earth. Now, let's begin by suggesting that your current finite state that you commonly refer to as three-dimensional or physical is not your planet in its intended state. In other words, something has gone very wrong in your scenario here. So let me begin by suggesting what it is supposed to be like, what it was intended to be like, in order to give you a viable vision upon which you are able to therefore focus your energy. Earth is meant to be a gorgeous paradise of peace, serenity, light, love, and omnipresent oneness. There should never have been any violence here. There is nothing to be learned from violence other than that it hurts, right? So violence serves no purpose whatsoever in the greater scheme of things. So those who would purport a certain belief that violence is somehow necessary on some spiritual level are rather misguided in the bigger picture. Because if you believe that violence is spiritually necessary, what you are essentially saying, well, you are basically making excuses for it, right? Now, why would one make an excuse for violence, for the existence of violence? One would make that excuse in order to make themselves feel better. It's rather like the condition of an abused child whose parent abuses them, and then they say to themselves, well, this is how my parent shows me love. This is how my parent shows me attention. So on a planetary scale, when you believe that violence is somehow essential to your spiritual awakening on some, dare I say, insane level, what you are actually doing is attempting to make yourself feel better out of a state of feeling hopeless. Because you see, my dearest friends, it is only hopelessness that causes anyone to make excuses for the existence of violence. It is only a feeling of hopelessness or helplessness that causes one to make spiritual excuses for the existence of suffering. Because you see, if you did not feel helpless, you wouldn't make these excuses, would you? If you did not feel helpless to do anything about it, you would focus your attention and your energy on rectifying the situation. And with that said, I also wish to inform you that rectifying the situation is not a behavioral issue. Because there are those who believe that violence and suffering can be solved by merely changing human behavior. But if you look a bit further, you will begin to realize that is not really true, because in the animal kingdom, there is tremendous violence. Animals suffer as much and sometimes even more than human beings. So the subject of violence and suffering is planet-wide. It affects all species of life. It affects every microorganism and up to the more intelligent life forms, which are yourselves. So human behavior is not going to eliminate the problem because it is not a behavioral issue. It is an issue of physics. It is an issue of, well, let me frame the issue for you in this way. Violence and suffering are an issue because they exist. So the issue therefore becomes, why indeed do they exist and what is causing them to exist? And if you are willing to accept the fact that your heart well knows that such things should not exist, then you have a much more viable focus on the problem itself. You have a focus that enables you to position yourself with power, strength, and full divine intention to eliminate this situation once and for all. Now, I shall address for a moment those who believe that the way out of this situation is to climb the dimensional ladders. You know, 4th, 5th, 6th, and beyond. You can do that if you want to. But I want to suggest to you a much faster way, because think of it this way. Why would you want to procrastinate eliminating this problem once and for all? Why would you want to put it off by going as slowly as you possibly can? So if you think that climbing the dimensional ladders is the fastest way out, as I said, you can take that path, but it is not the fastest way. It is not the most direct way. It is a very random and roundabout way, because as you climb those ladders, you are going to encounter all kinds of new things to contend with, all kinds of new things to distract you, all sorts of unlimited manifestations that you are going to be confronted with, good and bad. So I am here to suggest to those who care to listen that it is really, truly time for a powerful focus on the ultimate truth, not interim truths that take you there bit by bit by bit, but focus rather on the ultimate truth. What is it that you're trying to achieve in your spiritual awakening? What is it that you're trying to achieve on your spiritual path, as you so fondly call it? Where exactly are you going? Do you even know? Or are you approaching this from a state of feeling helpless, feeling as though someone else is in charge of your life, and you don't really know what to do, but you'll try to do the right things so that somehow you will end up in the right place? So essentially what I am saying to you, my dearest friends, is that it is time to expand your consciousness. It is time to think bigger than you have ever imagined. And fundamentally, it is time to truly listen to your heart. Because your heart is the gateway. Your heart is the ultimate portal. Because I know everybody's looking for portals all the time, right? Gateways, portals, any way to get us out of this situation. Well, the ultimate gateway, the ultimate portal lies within you. It is the center of your being. It is the center of who you are as an infinite presence and creator in this universe. So rather than looking outside of yourself for escape routes, go within. And let me add one more thing. Where you have been gravely compromised in terms of your consciousness and your perspective and your perception. You have been gravely compromised to believe that your heart is minuscule, in some cases irrelevant, not all that important, and certainly not as important as the vast outer space that surrounds you. But I wish to inform you, my dearest friends, that that is completely the opposite of the truth. All of the power that you seek exists within you. All of the knowing that you seek exists within you. You have it right now. You don't have to gain it from outside of yourself. All you have to do is learn to listen. Have the courage to listen. And I will also suggest to you that it should not take courage to listen to your own self, to listen to your own heart. What is your heart telling you about this entire situation? And I shall leave you with this thought, my dearest friends. Take the time, take the quiet time to sit with yourself. You are a conscious, living entity. You are alive. You are radiant. You are powerful. And you are a manifestation of all that is. With that sort of presence, why wouldn't you want to listen to what exists at the core of that presence that is you? Why would you not want to pay attention to the messaging that is coming from that powerful self that is you via that gateway into eternal life, which is your heart? That's the question. So I challenge you to take the time, stop looking around outside of yourself for all of your answers, because there are many answers out there, correct? How are you ever going to piece them all together in such a way that it's going to ultimately make sense to you? You probably won't, because as many answers as you find on this planet, believe me, there are multitudes more beyond this planet. But that's not what you need to feel secure, is it? What you need to feel secure is pure, unadulterated, total knowing of what is real. So go within, spend time, get to know yourself. When I say get to know yourself, I do not refer to your emotions. I do not refer to your thoughts. I do not refer to your past history, your personality, or your lifespan here that you currently occupy. I refer to the self that is experiencing all of it. That's the self that you must listen to if you really want to know the truth. And with that, I leave you with love, with light, with the power of that which creates all that is, sending you many blessings. Goodbye.